So then lads, back with another video. You read the title and saw the thumbnail, I'm not going to waste your time. So, with the very mid, Modern Warfare 2 trailer, sorry no, not Modern Warfare 2, COD 19 is what I'm going to call it, because it should not be using the same title, has dropped. And yeah, we're using my first time reaction to Modern Warfare 3 on Plutonium for background gameplay. Just got that and wow, it's so fun. But yeah, we got that trailer, and hey, well, that's not the important part, okay? What's really happened is that some gameplay details have been confirmed by the man of the legend himself, Jack Frags, and yeah, I understand that a lot of content creators were flown out to Activision Studios to praise the game on Twitter so people use their code in the store. But he actually provided a factual description of what's going on. But first, we're going to look at the trailer. Look at the trailer, I was wrong, okay? The leaks were wrong, saying that the story's just going to be about fighting the cartel. It's not. Mostly, it's going to be a globe-trotting adventure, just like the campaign Modern Warfare 3 was. And there wasn't really much notice that it was like a mediocre song playing in the background and Task Force 141 doing stuff around the world. Because like, let's break some individual things down. Yes, we're not going to do a trailer breakdown like the Fallen Order of it. Just going to do looking at the leaks in general. So, I guess the main characters we have here, from those we've seen, are Price, Ghost, Gaz, Soap, and some Mexican guy. I mean, one's like the first choice I'd have in a game, but that's supposed to be like the best bits of the Modern Warfare series. We're going for like a Task Force 141 crew. Sorry, but like, we really need. I'd probably have Griggs and Ramirez instead of Gaz and Soap. Like, Gaz was such a minor character. I didn't get why they chose him for the reboot. And I guess it's good to flesh out his background, but it's clearly not the same Gaz. He looks completely different. He's younger. He's not got as much of a beard. He's black. He's got a much stronger London accent. I mean, what's happening over at Activision HQ, they plan to make Sergeant Garrett like his own thing, and Activision called them up and was like, "Nah, not enough nostalgia. We need to make him an original character." And obviously, Watch would have gone to the Relax's Ghost, since we've never seen Ghost's face before. But whereas COD fans are too racist, so have a major character of that scale be black, so they made him Gaz instead. But yeah, let's look at the new characters. They did mention Mexican Special Force would be involved in this, which is cool, I guess. The other things in the trailer, they seem to be doing stealth missions on water. Like, there was one part on a boat where it tilts and you saw the containers go back and forth. I guess that was going to be like a gimmick level in the campaign. We did see that confirmed in the campaign gameplay footage. That was one thing that kind of got me interested, okay? So, they find like a nuke similar to what happens in the original Modern Warfare, and like Kate Laswell, because like, yeah, remember her? She says, "How did Iran get this? It's either Russia or us." Are they going to go back to the root of questioning American exceptionalism, like in the original Modern Warfare 2? I played through that remastered campaign. General Shepard is just so fucking good as a villain. I can remember she was like, "I lost 50,000 men in the blink of an eye, and the world just fucking watched. Tomorrow there'll be no shortage of patriots, no shortage of volunteers." Because, you know, the last campaign we had shit like, oh, had they used chlorine gas? That's terrible, even though we just used white phosphorus on the Russian base. Oh no. He's a criminal, but Farah's still fine because she cooperates with Western forces and stuff like that. So we actually questioning of American imperialism, even though COD's basically the US Army's ventriloquist dummy. That'd be interesting. Yes, we did see some waterborne stealth levels, people coming out of the water. So that's funny, yes. I mean, looking at the scale, apparently it's going to be a globe-trotting adventure. Bad thing, Modern Warfare 2019 is the sorry, not Modern Warfare, COD 16, it still doesn't deserve to bear the same title. The campaign takes place over 5 countries, 3 of which were real, and 4 of which were included in multiplayer, including 2 of the fictional countries. Modern Warfare 2's campaign goes to the same amount of countries in the first 5 missions, okay? Every single map in COD 16 was either a collection of abandoned buildings in the middle of fucking nowhere in a fictional country, plus a few London maps and one St. Petersburg map. I don't want to play through a normal day in London anymore. Then, on the other section, there's Modern Warfare 3, what I'm using for background gameplay. Just looking through the maps, it's fucking all over the place. Like, it goes from, like, India. It's a shame because your characters don't shout bully, bully, bully when they throw a grenade, and those maps get fucking France, Germany, Britain, America, Russia, Middle East, Africa. It's too much. You know, there's a point where they're just doing it excessively. I mean, COD 4, I played the remastered version, did that kind of well, hitting the balance. You know, you had like bits in Pripyat, the bits in Russia, Eastern Europe, Middle East. From the looks of it, though, Modern Warfare 2, the original, the actual Modern Warfare 2 did look good because you had like bits in Brazil, in the invasion of America, like it was in Siberia, parts of the Middle East. So yeah, that actually looked kind of good. So yeah, I hope it hits the balance between not being too contained like COD 16, but not too much of an all over the place adventure like Modern Warfare 3. I mean, you did mention in the video that there was like one map that takes place in a racetrack in Asia somewhere, and another one that takes place in a museum in Spain. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about the trailer. Gameplay details. In terms of the new DMZ mode, well, we haven't had anything said about that really, and I kind of don't give a shit about that, so let's move on. Okay, Ground War. As mentioned before, Ground War was probably the only above average part of COD 16, like, normal multiplayer and Spec Ops were mid. The campaign and gunfight mode did not like that at all. So Ground War has two big glaring issues though. Looks like this game is finally going to fix one of those issues being just the lack of content, like getting so many vehicles, which includes boats and jets, which are missing, and so many more maps with a diverse setting that isn't just ripped straight from the Warzone map. And they're not only including this game, which I was worried they wouldn't do, but they're actually putting thought and time into it. However, the only problem with Ground War has been that it's too similar to Conquest from Battlefield. I mean, like, the fact that you capture objectives, the fact that when you die you see an overlay of the map can spawn on flags and squad mates. It'd just be better if it was just about getting the number of kills and scores and you just respawn at random places and maps. Sadly, they did say you can get massive troop carrier helicopters that people can spawn in on, but it was also said that there's going to be multiple game modes within Ground War. Maybe this would include some sort of massive scale team deathmatch to be more COD-like, I guess. That would just be great. And the details about, oh boy, bots. Okay, so in skill-based matchmaking, it's hard to realize that that's not a good idea, finally. So instead they're doing bots, where basically bots will be in the game, harder ones for good players and easy ones for bad players. I don't really know the details, but apparently the bots are more realistic to players and have self-preservation in mind. But I don't really care about that because it still sounds like such a fucking stupid idea. Like, getting Modern Warfare 3 from Tony, okay, I'm going up against people who have been playing this game since 2011. Sometimes I'm getting my ass hammered, sometimes I'm hammering asses, but you know what? I'm having fun, and that's just what it should be. The maps, apparently they're going to be smaller, which is good. Like, I don't want to see any more maps like Atlas Superstore, Sadal Harbour, Cheshire Park, and St. Petersburg in this game. Finally getting actual decent playable maps. Maybe they're going to cut down on doors. Listen, I don't want those people who hate doors so much fun. They're not that bad thing. I don't think calling it Modern Warfare for the 1000th time is still funny. Like, they didn't completely ruin the gameplay experience, but I just really didn't see a need for them to be there. Like, if they're in the game, as long as like there's good maps, it wouldn't ruin the whole thing, but it'd be better without them. We don't have confirmation on whether or not the tactical elements are there, but the maps are confirmed to be smaller, which is a relief, and are just being more diverse. And that brings us onto the new prisoner extraction game mode. So there's going to be like a game mode where you extract a prisoner, and it'll be similar to Rainbow Six Siege, and I'll be an attacking team and defense team, and it'll be really tactical. At the end of the day, I'm just hoping that they're going to keep the tactical element in this thing and not have anything about doors or mounting in the normal multiplayer. People are saying that they're teaching Battlefield and Rainbow Six how to do their job. I think it's the other way around. They're having to emulate Battlefield and Rainbow Six in order to be good, and that doesn't sound very impressive to me. I mean, here's the thing: Realm War was like a biggest innovation in a while. In COD 16, and now they're doubling down on it, but they're also having prisoner rescue mode. I feel like that's kind of two sides of completely different coins. Like, you can't have this fucking massive all-out warfare experience combined with this slow-paced tactical CQB thing. Like, maybe just having them be completely separate would be the best call, but knowing COD, I don't think they're going to do that, which would be a shame. Campaign details, I mean, from what we looked, the gameplay was good. I mean, in COD 16's campaign, the gameplay was alright, I guess. It's just the story, which was terrible. Maybe we're gonna get a good story this time, and then also you need the gameplay. Like when I mentioned the sliding cargo tins and the shit looked like a gimmick thing, I never said that was gonna be bad. That actually looks really fun to play on. And then we're gonna bring ourselves on to the gunsmith. Oh gee, oh boy. So it contained one thing I liked and one thing I hated. So I thought to myself for a while that the ideal amount of attachments for a primary weapon in COD should be 3 per gun, and then 1 for a secondary weapon. That's it. By the looks of it, you can get attachments, but you can also get components, which they're things like receivers and barrels, which they're not like you don't have like scopes or extended mags or suppressors. Like it's not like having these things would be objectively better than not having them. They're just different settings you can tune the gun to. Consider it, I don't know, like in Battlefield 5, how you can kind of customize the different parts of the gun, or maybe have more how, I don't know, many watching this play more on how, but how you could choose the different handles and hilts for all the swords and axes. It looks kind of like that. I mean, that's kind of right on its own. I would still prefer it if you could just have attachments, unless the components are purely cosmetic, because I don't want the guns to lose their identity, like in Vanguard, where you could have 10 attachments per gun. It's all meant to be roughly unique. But then it brings us the fact that you can, oh my god, this is really fucking stupid. The fact that you'll be able to tune the weight and the length and stuff of barrels, kind of like have a slide to tune different parts of it. Like Exclusive A's also went to the Activision thingy, and he saw this. This just sounds so fucking stupid. Like, I can't be the only one who just thinks that that's gonna make their gun lose their soul. I mean, he did also mention about like an unlock tree where if you do good with one gun, you unlock something similar to it in a family tree. That's fine, I guess, but saying that that's the way that people can play with the gun they want and modify it, but that shouldn't be the way it is. I feel like, since when had like the creator class stop being about compromises? Like, you should just be able to do whatever you want. The guns should be able to have their like own unique feel each, and you shouldn't be able to bend and break them to whatever you want. Like, feels like they say that they're catering to players of all skill levels, but it's really not. This just sounds like it's supposed to be noob friendly. I mean, COD 16 was noob friendly, and I was a noob at the time of first trying it out, and that was not fun to try. I mean, so yeah, it changed to the guns would make it doesn't seem too good. The maps, okay, I was wrong about hating on the maps in previous videos. Maybe they're not going to be that bad. The new game modes, I mean, Realm looks like it's going to be fun. Like I said, don't give a shit about DMZ. I mean, Warzone 2, the new map, that's all we know about it. I mean, I stopped playing Warzone after Operation Monarch. If they do something like that again, I'm not coming back. So yeah, as I mentioned, DM's even though I don't care about it, I mean, it must have the potential. I like the idea of a high risk, high reward game, so I've never played something like that before. But if Ground War and I mean, we know that Ground War's probably good, but Prisoner Rescue, if that is good, it'll be helpful. I mean, if it's not good, you can always avoid it, but it sounds like you're going to put time into it, so I feel like the quality of the game is going to really depend on if these new modes are good. The guns, if they've already fucked with it, I mean, So yeah, it looks like I was wrong about some parts. I'm not doubling down on everything that made COD 16 bad, but they are definitely adding new unwanted changes. And just so yeah, it's not sounding as bad as I originally presumed it would be. Still not pre-ordering it, and we still really need to wait for some new gameplay details. I mean, this is not gonna save COD, okay? Like, even if it's an absolute banger, even if it's the greatest COD game ever made, in 2 years' time, I know the fanboys are going to get angry at me, but Treyarch could do bad on the game after this. So this, I'm not saying Treyarch are bad, I'm just saying that they're not a perfect studio. They have all the potential to ruin this, and then Sledgehammer making the one after that, so we don't know how that's going to go down. But what I'm saying is, people are saying this game could save COD. It cannot do that, no matter how good the game is. We're at a stage where we have not have confirmation that the game's going to be good at launch, so yeah, it cannot save COD, but one thing it can do is kill it. Because while it may not be able to revive the series by being good, it will fucking go for the series' jugular by sucking. Okay, like, it seems like they put so much resources into this game. It's got so much hype on the fanboys who will get hyped over everything. If it flops, that'll be it. That'll go straight for the heart of COD. So yeah, that's kind of gonna suck. Anyway, yeah, that's the video over, I guess. Sorry if this seemed kind of bad. It's completely unscripted and doing it all in one take. I've never really done that before, but yeah, like and subscribe. So I'm just kidding. If I need to tell you to like and subscribe, I made a shit video. So then, lads, that's the end.